welcome to Return of the Retro, episode 19, recorded live in front of an internet audience of no one on February 15th, 2015. Jared! Ervik! My man, how have you been doing?
Big bada boom. Bada boom.
Lilu Des, multipass.
He knows it's a multipass.
It says multipass. Oh... So, you're my host, besides myself. We are Ervik and Randark, and this is Return of the Retro, as I've said, and we are now part of a whole new network. The Overpowered Noobs, opnoobs.com, a PC gaming community, and we'll talk more about them in a little bit. But they are awesome. You should check them out at opnoobs.com and try to sign up for membership. There's an online form to fill out, and if you would like to write or stream or podcast for them, they have those options available. Anyway, Ervik, what have you been playing besides the topic of the day, Deus Ex Invisible War?
I beat, since it's been a while since we played, so I have a ton of games, more than usual anyway, not a ton. Far Cry 4, I beat in its entirety. I played that on Xbox One. That was a lot of fun. Surprisingly, I actually played 3 and never really got into it. 4 really did it for me. Something about squirrel suits, like jumping off mountains in squirrel suits is like, sweet. I played some Hearthstone. That game's still not good, but it's free. I don't love it. So in lieu of that, when I get tired of not that good, I play MTGO, which is awesome because it's magic. However, the interface sucks donkey balls. It's like playing, I swear to God, the interface hasn't changed since like 1992 when the first internet web page was designed. And it is terrible. It is god-awful. Wizards of the Coast makes enough money to invest in a modern, like, Hearthstone-like, sweet-ass interface. Like, the Magic product they release every year, like the 2015, 2016, those are all really nice and polished. Yeah, those are really good. Like, they're polished, the card animations work right, everything. The MTGO interface is god-awful. Like I said, it's from ARPANET. Like, I think it was actually on ARPANET. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But you get to play Magic, and that is a win for me. And I've also been playing Dying Light. I've been co-oping it with my buddy Ari, and it's actually also on Xbox One. And that game's better than it should be. It's literally the same guys who made Dead Island, and they made this game, which is a first-person Dead Island. So it's more like if someone were to make a weird baby between Mirror's Edge and Dead Island. And it's sort of, it weirdly works for me. It's first person parkour zombie game. That's right. You parkour around the city to get away from zombies. It's ridiculous.
Since you're mentioning it, that's actually something that OP News is doing today. They're doing a 12 hour, it might be 20, it was supposed to be 24 hour, it might only be a 12-hour streaming event today at twitch.tv/OPNoobs. And they're giving away a copy of Dying Light to a member of the audience and to the best streamer of the day. So, yay.
That's neat.
Yeah. Anyways, you got anything else?
I'm sure I'm forgetting stuff, but my brain is malfunctioning. That's what I got on my list anyway.
Cool. So for me, I've been playing on my new 3DS XL. Yes, the new 3DS XL. It's glorious. The 3D is amazing.
Yeah, but it's horseshit. You gotta buy a new... That's like, oh man, you want the 3D to work right? Or it's like, oh, you want Xbox Live to work right? You gotta buy a new Xbox One, yo. That's some hard. I know it's only $200 and not like $500, but come on, Nintendo, get your shit together. That being said, it is pretty sweet.
I ended up paying about $75 for mine after turning my old system in and a couple of games I was never gonna play. But, yeah, it's fucking awesome. I had a real problem playing Star Fox 64 on it. On the old 3DS XL, and it was basically because I would get, I'd move my hands, not using the gyro controls, but I'd just move my hands in the 3D, and I didn't want to play it without the 3D because it looked so good in that game. So now that I have the new 3DS XL, I sat down and I beat Star Fox 64 in, about an hour it takes to beat that game?
It
was really short.
the viewing angle on the original 3DS was just awful. I think it was like a 0.5 degree variance where you could see it.
I found out, though, that if you put, I have transition lenses in my glasses, and so if I come in from the outside, I put them up on my forehead until they go back to normal, so I'm not staring out of sunglasses in a dark room. And I found out that confuses the 3DS as far as tracking, and the screen will jitter on you.
Nice.
Which is hilarious to me.
Nice.
On top of that, I've been playing Super Mario 3D Land. And this is the game that I was going to get 3 coins on every level all the way through. I'm now on 7-4, and I've done exactly that, and I still have over 80 lives. So this is not a hard game at all. It's really kind of depressing, because Mario games are supposed to be hard. At least towards, World 7 and 8.
Yeah, I didn't have a ton of trouble with it, unfortunately.
Aside from that, I've been playing a bunch of PC games. I got into my first MOBA that's online. That's actually online versus. I was playing Plants War on my Android, which is a single-player type MOBA. It's easy and stupid, and you're a little plant, and you got to beat up other, like bears and shit, because they're invading your forest. But I've been playing Smite, which is it takes all the ancient gods, like from Hindu, Mayan, Aztec, Greek, Roman, Norse, and I think there's one other one in there, and puts them all into a MOBA game like League of Legends, and you fight. But the difference is, instead of a top-down view, you get a third-person view over the from directly behind, not over the shoulder, and it also makes all your abilities are skill shots, so you actually have to hit people with them like you would in a standard third-person shooter, which is awesome for me, because it makes you feel like you're in the game versus just watching it and controlling what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
that makes sense. Okay,
I haven't. I've heard good things. I hate MOBAs, so I haven't tried it.
I thought I would hate them, and it turned out I really didn't like their Conquest map, which is their big 3-lane map. That's just, the MOBA standard. And they have what's called a jungle in between the lanes where you can get power-ups by defeating NPCs. I've played that a bit. I just didn't like it because it kept getting ganked by people coming out of the jungle and blah, 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 blah. But they have what's called Assault Mode, which is a 1-lane 5v5 with random gods. And it pulls from the stable of gods you've bought, which is over 60 gods. I've bought 2. I bought Poseidon and Zeus. And also the free ones that are available. And of course, this weekend they put Cupid and Aphrodite into the free ones. But there's a standard set of 5, I think, that are always free. And then there's 5 that rotate out. I'm not sure how often, but they rotate out. And so for me, I end up with a stable of like 12 gods that it randomly comes up with. And I really like that, because it's just you versus the other team in basically a death match. There are towers along the way, and you got to defeat something at the very end of each of the path to win. But it's because there's none of the extra bullshit. You know where everybody is. Your team's almost always trying to work together, versus being split up among 5 of you among 3 lanes. It feels a lot better, but they don't have a ladder competition or anything like that for it because of its randomness, which kind of sucks. But anyway, that's Smite. It's a really fun game, and the reason I got into it was because I've been hanging with the OP Noobs guys, and they were playing. I'm like, well, okay, I'll try one finally, and I'm glad I picked this one. And both the gods I paid for, I got through. You earn favor in the game, which you can use. I think it's 5,100 of it to buy a cheap god, or you can do stuff like install Curse Client and use Curse's voice chat during one match and get 200 coins, which is enough to buy a god, or 200 gems. So I did that. So both the gods I paid for I got for free. But if you want to unlock all of them, it's like $30, and that includes any future gods as well. Which is, I don't think that's a terrible price.
No, I mean, if you plan on playing the game, that's less than the cost of a typical PC game.
Right. So, if you're planning on playing it and making it your main game, it unlocks everybody as their release, which is pretty cool. And of course, there's skins and crap to pay for, and voice packs and blah 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 blah. But anyway, I started playing Bioshock 2 after it crashed on me 3 times. 15 minutes in, I finally went to the forums and found a fix for it and got it working. Still crashes occasionally, but it's much better. And it was a good game for a while until I forgot exactly what happened, but something pissed me off and I haven't picked it up since. And I say it's a good game based on standard games, but comparing it to its predecessor, Bioshock 1, it really kind of sucks. You play as a Big Daddy, but you have the same life as you did as a standard person walking around the city.
Yep.
That's kind of crap.
Yeah, I didn't love Bioshock 2. I mean, it's more of the same. So it's if you like Bioshock 1, it's okay. But yeah, a lot of it felt rehashed, and the multiplayer was just poorly thought out. That game did never not need multiplayer.
It's almost, I haven't even tried the multiplayer, but I get the feeling that it was just thrown in there because multiplayer was the thing of the day when it was released.
Yeah, it felt hackneyed. It didn't work. Nothing was balanced. Like they quickly dropped it in the next one, the Air one. My brain is malfunctioning. Infinite, Bioshock Infinite. Jesus.
I haven't. That's why I'm playing 2. I want to get through 2 to get to Infinite and just keep following the storyline, which I don't even know if they line up. As far as I know, it's just the same world, but that's how I am. I have to go through it chronologically from release.
1 and 2 2 is a direct sequel. Infinite is not, but it does have tie-in stuff.
Okay. And then another game I picked up during the Steam sale was Prison Architect, which is basically, to put it simply, is Sim Prison. You build and run a prison, which is actually, it's a really great simulator game. I really enjoy my time in it. I sold my first prison and made a bunch of money, because once you get so far in the game, once you have so many upgrades and stuff, you can sell your prison. And this way you can buy a new plot of land and start over and build it, better from what you learned. So I did that, and the second prison we decided to go with only maximum security people. And I got to about 60 of them, and each one had their own individual cells. I had everything set up nice, and all of a sudden a riot starts. For no apparent reason, just because they're assholes. And
they are in prison, I mean.
Well, yeah. They kill all my guards, except for 2. I brought in 18 riot cops. They killed all of them. I brought in more, and by the time they got there, I got a phone call saying, "You couldn't control your riot. We're taking your prison over. Game over, bitch." It was a fucking bloodbath, but it was hilarious.
That's pretty great.
It's an early access game, so they're still adding stuff in that. And there's bugs that I've run into, but nothing, game breaking or anything. Just kind of annoyances, like it doesn't see that your lights are connected when they should be, stuff like that. But yeah, it's just really fun game. Next time it's on sale for 75% off. If you like any type of like Roller Coaster Tycoon or Sim City or anything like that, you'll love this game.
Yeah, I've almost picked it up a few times, but early access makes me nervous. I've been bitten a few times.
So far, I've done really well with my early access stuff. I got this game. I have 2 that I backed on Kickstarter that I'm going to get a full copy of the game when they come out, and they just, they send you their Steam key as soon as they're on early access. One of those is Road Redemption, which is a Road Rash spiritual sequel, which is tremendous, by the way.
Yeah, you mentioned that a few times. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, fucking amazing game. I'm really glad I bought that one. And then the other one I got, what is the name of it? It's a spiritual successor to another game, but it involved hacking and stuff. It kind of reminded me of like a third-person Watch Dogs, and now I can't remember the name of it.
Hacking? You mean Watch Dogs?
It's not Watch Dogs. I'm bringing up my games list now.
I actually, while you're looking, backed the first thing on Kickstarter that got funded. I've backed a few things, nothing ever was funded, but I backed Exploding Kittens.
Nice.
It's a card game made by the guys from The Oatmeal, if you're familiar with said webcomic. Or content site, I guess, really is more accurate. But it has become the most funded thing ever.
Which is kind of amazing.
Yeah, like, I wish I had I would see if I can find the numbers. Because they keep having to add stretch goals they've gotten so far. So they have achievements up now, and whenever you meet an achievement, they add a stretch goal or a number of achievements. So let's see. It is 10,000% funded currently, or more than that.
Holy shit.
I don't know. They asked for something ridiculous, like 10 grand, and they're up to like 5 million and change, or something absurd.
Wow. So the before this, what was the most funded thing? Was it still the Ouya?
It was either that or one of the games from God, what's the guy's name? The studio.
Brian Fargo?
No. God, the Psychonauts guy.
I don't know his name.
Yeah, he had a couple adventure games up, and I think one of them was for a while, but they've just reached 150,000 backers for Exploding Kittens. It's pretty intense. It's a card game, and it's still open, so if you want in, but it's a card game kind of in the vein of like a Apples to Apples or a Cards Against Humanity-ish kind of thing. But so originally the thing was for one deck of cards that were and if you did a little more, you got the Not Safe for Work expansion pack, which had all the dirty cards. And so the first stretch goal is they changed it to they went from like a 60 card and a 20 card to like two 80 card decks. Like they're both full decks now, and you can mix them together, but they're also just standalone. So if you only want to play dirty cards, and then they upgraded the box to be like this really nice magnetically latched like case, and they're like, we don't know how to make this fancier because people just keep backing it. It's pretty ridiculous at this point, but take a look at it. It's if you like card games, I think you'll enjoy.
Which I do. I picked up the Humble Card Game Bundle, and I did that because we had the latest Magic that we were talking about, Magic 2015 in it. It also had a couple of games that I really wanted, like Talisman, which is a board game, but it came with the Steam version. And it was also an app of the day on Amazon Play Store or the Amazon App Store for Google Play a while ago. But the game I was thinking of that I was trying to mention with the hacking stuff was Satellite Rain, which is a spiritual successor to Syndicate Wars. Okay. If you remember that game. But it's labeled as a real-time, class-based strategy game set in an open-world cyberpunk city. I don't even remember what I backed it for. Let's see. Does it tell me what I backed it for? It doesn't matter. I backed it so I'd get a copy of it. And they're still putting out updates for that, too. So.
Excellent. I'm happy. I didn't do the card one. I wish I had, because there was a few things I wanted, but I already had 2015, which is a big draw. I did just do the Star Wars one.
See, that one I didn't do because I own most of those games otherwise. And the ones that I wanted, I didn't want to pay for. It was like the top tier stuff. Yeah,
I had a bunch of them, but they were all in like disc form, and now I can throw those shits away and clear space in my room. Because I moved, we've been getting all our shit into the house and whatnot since we moved in, and it's a goddamn filthy mess. I have too much shit. Like, I have an obscene amount of shit.
When I went to your house the first time when you were living back at your old place, and you just had a room full of shit from GameStop, like you had a full-size fucking Lich King. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing with all this shit?
I still have him. I kept him.
He's cool. That's the one thing I would have kept out of that pile of shit.
Actually, I made a fair amount of money off all that. I sold a lot of that stuff on eBay. Made not an insignificant amount of change.
That's cool. I'm trying to see here. Did Humble Bundle lists my card game bundle as having two of them, which is weird to me. Like, why do I have two? Why does it come up twice? And then I'm not sure exactly why, but there it is. Maybe it's for the free games that came with it versus, yeah, I think if you want the free games like Card City Nights and Card City Nights Print and Play and Escape from Aliens in Outer Space, I can send those to you.
Maybe. We'll see.
Anyway. Anyways, what's been going on in real life? Anything cool?
No, nothing. I hung a closet yesterday. That's about it.
So Christmas and New Year's go by. Almost since Thanksgiving it's been since we've had an episode. And nothing cool has happened with you.
Nope. I haven't done anything. I worked a bunch. That's basically
it. Okay. Unfortunately, it's about the same for me, except I got a new job. Yay. I now work for Kohl's company, the clothing store. They're opening a new store around the corner from me. It's out near where we stayed for my wedding near the Target there. It's in that same plaza.
Okay, yeah, I know.
Yeah, so they built a whole new building and everything, and they brought in a whole bunch of people and that. And there's people complaining they're not getting hours. They're getting like 2 shifts a week. I'm pulling like 6 shifts a week because I said I would work at any time, and they're bringing me in at like 5 a.m. most days. It kind of sucks. But at the same time, it's a job. I feel a little better about myself, even if it is minimum wage and I'm going to be a cashier. But, it's a fucking job. What are you going to do? I needed the money. Alright, that brings us into game news. And our old buddy, one of the guys we've had on the show, DJ Pimp Daddy, sent me over to Kickstarter again for RPG puzzler that he wanted us to mention. It's called Vidar. Did you have a chance to look at this at all?
I clicked the page. I didn't get too deep into it. It looked kind of neat, though.
It was made in RPG Maker, so it's not the best looking RPG in the world, but the gameplay sounds awesome. It's got random storytelling and puzzles, and constant loss. Because apparently, what you got to do is figure out the story before all the people of the town disappear.
Okay.
And so far, it's reached 14,000 of its 18,000 goal, which is up, I think, another 1,000 from yesterday. It has 11 days to go, so it'll probably make its goal no problem. It's a pretty low goal, only 18,000. It's got 299 backers. And it seems like a pretty cool thing. And look, I've mentioned a couple times on our Twitter account, and both times he's retweeted and favorited it for us. So you got it. In return, he's sent us hopefully a few listeners when they check it out. But anyway, the description is: Vidar is dying. The former capital of a kingdom is now reduced to a shell of a town. A city that once saw wealth and war sees now only storms, famine, sickness, and death. Now a new threat has emerged, a terrible beast with an appetite for those who still live. So long as this beast is left to feast on the remaining villagers, Vidar's days are numbered. So you gotta run around, solve the puzzles, kill him. And each time you play through, there's a new random story and a new random puzzles to fill out, which is all pretty cool.
Yeah, I do like me some roguelikes, so.
I don't know if it's a roguelike or not.
No, well, if it's an RPG, it by definition can't be, but if it's all procedurally generated, I mean, kinda, I guess.
Yeah. A little weird.
I'm interested. Sign me up.
Anyway, you want to take the next story?
Yes, I do. So, someone with a lot of free time, probably, has made a new NES platformer, Mad Wizard: A Candelabra Chronicle, released on a cartridge, like an actual, like you don't have to like, because they've got some of those where you actually have like a cartridge, you put like a flash memory in. This is just like a hardcore cartridge that you plug into your NES, like directly into it, which is crazy. Apparently this game was originally announced, and I guess we missed it, back in July 2014, and it is just now releasing. It is $40 American
for the cartridge.
For the cartridge, yeah. To put into your thing.
Nintendo? Or your Retron 5.
Yeah. Or what is the thing that plays like 6 different Nintendo consoles? Is that thing called?
The Retron 5?
No, there's a different one, and now it's going to bother me forever,
okay.
But I'll never remember it. But yeah, it's a platformer. It comes with a digital manual. For $40, they could not be bothered to print you a paper manual.
It should be noted, though, that you can get the ROM and emulate it for free.
Yes, that is...
Oh, the demo ROM. I'm sorry, the demo ROM. Emulate it for free.
The full one, I'm guessing, will come out at some point. It's probably on the internet if you look hard enough. But, yeah.
I'm on the webpage to buy the game, and yeah, it's $40, and you can buy it. And it comes in a cool purple cartridge.
Yeah, like
versus the
like
standard Nintendo.
Like it's like translucent, like you can see the chip inside, or the board, I guess, inside.
It's darker than the Game Boy Color that was purple, but you can still see through.
You know what I wonder, and I didn't see this anywhere, is if they made it easy to open to replace the battery.
if it has a battery. It's a platformer, so it may not.
True, it might not have to
It
save.
may not have saves.
It might not have saves. True. So yeah, here we go. Maybe it's got the passcode system.
They mentioned it's not compatible with stolen emulators like the Retron 5. I am sorry for saying that. It works on authentic Nintendo systems and works on clone systems like the NEX, the Yobo, and the FC Twin.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
But it's untested on the Famicom using a 72 to 60 pin converter. He says it should work, and it's untested on portable systems, which should work. But the Retron 5 can go fuck itself.
Specifically, you.
Yeah.
We don't care for your shit.
You fucking stole shit. Fuck you. Alright, so our next cool news story. There is a Dreamcast controller mod that's been done that instead of having a VMU, he redid the controller completely, but he kept the same spacing for, the joystick and the D-pad and the start button and the regular buttons. And where the VMU is, he enlarged that space and put in a small color screen, which is exact screen you would see on a TV. So now you can, put your Dreamcast in your suitcase, go to an airport, plug it into the wall, pull out the controller, and just play right there. Like a fucking asshole with a full console right there. But hey, good for you.
Man, how would you see it? Like, that screen would be so tiny.
It's really not that bad. It's maybe a 3-inch screen.
3 inches, but can you imagine trying to play a game on a 3-inch screen? A Game Boy has like a bigger screen.
Right, it's about that size.
That's intense. That's crazy. People crazy.
It's pretty cool that he figured out how to do
that's
it.
super neat. Like, I definitely enjoy the effort he put in.
And it looks like he's using some sort of video splitter. So it's not a native connection to the back of the Dreamcast at least the way he's demoing it in the video. But I'm sure he's got a converter or something he can use. And he's playing a Sonic game in it, and he's running around, and it keeps up with him pretty good as far as, refresh rates and all that. It's a quality screen in there. So, yeah. Did you get a chance to look at the next story?
I did. Citra, which is a 3DS emulator, has been making some progress, and they've got a video up on YouTube now of them successfully playing Cave Story on a 3DS emulator. I couldn't find out that it's not live yet.
Not sure. I think it's still in development.
Yeah, but this is the first video footage of them playing a game on it. So they're getting it working. Alright, so here we go. It can currently emulate Citra built homebrew, such as, and there's a few games listed. No, it cannot currently play retail games. Works on all 3 OSs. Yeah, so it's not currently live, but they do have it working with at least several games. Cave Story being the one that they've mentioned, but they mentioned several more. And right now, and you can download it and play the games made for this emulation, but no retail games. So, but we're getting there.
We are getting there, and that's cool, because someone will put retail games on it, and when the 3DS is, dead and gone, we'll be able to play the game still, which is the best part of emulation in general.
Yeah, absolutely. It does suck. There's a ton of games for, like, downloadable games on my old Xbox and stuff, that once they stop supporting it, those games will just be gone forever, and that kind of makes me sad.
Yeah, like the old Phantasy Star Online for the Dreamcast.
Yeah, precisely.
It's just dead and gone. Which, it's got fan support now, but it's dead and gone. Speaking of 3DS emulation, 3DS flashcard users are getting banned by Nintendo. If you don't know, the 3DS flashcard is a card you put into the back slot of your 3DS, the standard game slot, that also has a place to put in a SD card. And you can load, multiple games on it and run it, and, that way you don't have to pay for crap. When, of course, Nintendo caught on to this, and They've been banning people from Nintendo. So if you're going to do this, my suggestion is go out to Craigslist or get a used one somewhere, use as a secondary 3DS, and go ahead and keep that one offline. You know, never bring it online or anything so you don't get banned, or don't put your normal profile on there and stuff. And that way you can still steal all the games and play. Not that I condone stealing the games, because there's a lot of really good ones for the 3DS that you should go out and buy. But if you're going to play Disney's Frozen, steal that shit. They've made enough money off that stupid fucking movie.
Hey man, if you're willing to pay for it, that's their problem.
Hey, let it go, okay? Just let it go. I had.
Are you proud?
Do
you feel good? Do you feel dirty? Like it was a little dirty?
I feel dirty. I feel a lot dirty, actually. Oh. So I mentioned I was going to talk about OP Noobs a little bit, and I wrote a little blurb for it because I didn't get the one I was expecting to get earlier. But from what I know, just from my experience, and talking to the guys and hanging out with them, they're a PC gaming community. They've taken us on board as their first podcast and what they hope will be a large network. They've done one podcast in the past where it was called the All Members Podcast. They did 4 or 5 episodes, and literally any member could be online at the time on their TeamSpeak server and join in the conversation. Do you know how we talk over each other sometimes? Imagine it with 30 people.
All right.
It got a little crazy, so they ended up canceling that. And currently we're their only podcast, which is why we're going to become a little more focused on talking about emulation a bit more, because they're a PC gaming community, and you could use a PC to emulate, and that's how you do it. Yeah. But like I said, they're doing a 24-hour event today of streaming stuff. They do news updates on their site, OP Noobs. And instead of rating games and stuff, they actually have you rate their writers. And they keep a competition up between the writers to have better writing. And they want to foster a community that has quality writing versus just, another blogging community where anyone puts anything and has no, there's no filter as far as what's coming out or anything.
Okay.
So their eventual plan is to be, the next IGN or something similar to that. They want to be a high-quality go-to place for PC gaming news. And then, the people I've met there so far all seem great. They're very inclusive. I'm not talking about, like, sexual orientation stuff, but like, if you want to join up with them and hang out with them and play with them, all you got to do is sign up, meet them, and then hang out where they hang out, and you're more than welcome to join in chats, and they'll encourage you if you want to be a streamer or a podcaster or what, to go on your way, do that, and they'll get you, the help they can get, stuff like that. They've already had quite a few developers that they've spoken to and done interviews with, so it's a really cool thing. So if we ever want to get a developer of like like say we wanted to get the guy for Mad Wizard at Candlebrook Chronicle, we can probably go through OP Noobs, and they, because they're getting like 20,000 hits now a day, they can go ahead and, use their power to try to get us interviews in that if we want.
Ah, excellent. That I like.
Yeah, good stuff.
Always lead with how it benefits me.
So, this just reminded me of something. So you've heard of the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you?
I thought the golden rule was it's not gay if it's in a 3-way.
I thought it was not gay if it's underway.
That's not the golden rule.
Oh, that's just the Navy rule. That's right. I'm sorry about that.
That's why I never went underway, by the way. I avoided yours.
Anyways, the golden rule at school, they tell us, is he who has the gold makes the rules. Which is, I kind of like that one. That one makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I've heard that one before. I forget where, but I have heard that. And it is true, I mean.
Alright, we're going to start talking about our featured game of the week. Ugh. Deus Ex Invisible War. Before we get into this, let's talk about how good Deus Ex was, the original. It's actually the first game we played, not cooperatively, but at the same time.
And talked about,
when
yes.
we first met each other. Yeah. Literally down the hall from each other in our barracks in Georgia. I got a copy of it free with a sound card and set up surround sound speakers in the dorm room, essentially. And that was the first time I experienced surround sound in my own little area. It was pretty fun. You made fun of me for it.
Yeah, it was like half of your living space. With
But you thought it was
speakers.
cool when you sat down and spun in a circle with shit going on around you.
It was cool.
And the game was cool enough that you went out and bought a copy.
I did. Played the hell out of it.
You know, the biomods in it felt good, and there was good storyline. We got it right after 9/11, so there was a lot going on with that, and this involved some sort of terrorism bullshit, if I remember correctly. And
It did.
it felt up to date with the times. It felt futuristic in your abilities, and it was just really cool. Then we found this piece of shit.
I mean, I think we're putting the cart before the horse here, but my review is this game sucks. Oh my God.
I was going to show a video of it, but it's kind of playing like shit, so I'll just parse it in later. But, yeah. It is terrible. It's by Ion Storm. They're the developer, and it was published by IDOS Interactive. Is IDOS still around?
Yeah, they just made that new Tomb Raider game, didn't they? Or did they sell that to someone?
I'm not sure anymore. I don't remember seeing their name much anymore. Anyway, this was designed by Warren Spector and Harvey Smith, which sound like names out of a DC comic, by the way. Originally released in North America on December 2nd, 2003. And I know that I bought a copy of the game back then. I think I bought it on the 3rd. I think I bought it the day after it came out. But anyway, it Did you have something to say about IDOS?
Yeah, they're apparently now operating as Square Enix Europe.
Ah, that's right. For some reason I knew that and didn't know it at the same time. It's all very magical.
Man, they made a bunch of good games, though. Deus Ex, Legacy
Yeah.
of Kain, Time Splitters, Thief, the original Thief, Hitman, Tomb Raider.
Time Splitter's a good game.
Yeah, I like Time Splitters.
Oh, I'll have to pick that up for the Xbox, because I see it in the store all the time, and I'm like, this looks like it'd be good, but I've never heard of it, so I don't want to spend any money on it. But yeah, anyway, Deus Ex Invisible War, the piece of shit, largely positive reviews from multiple outlets. Aggregate site Metacritic gave it a score of 80 out of 100 on PC and 85 out of 100 on the Xbox. Those are the only two places it has ever released.
Those people are wrong.
Game rankings give it an 83.65% and 85.36 for PC and Xbox respectively. And as of April 23rd, 2011, the game has sold over 1.2 million copies, which I'm sure is a lot higher since it was just on sale for, what, $1.25 that you got it for?
Yeah, I paid week? It was like $1.80 or something that I bought it on.
Something like that. On the whole, critics praised the improved graphics, physics, lighting, and amount of choice the player was offered, but criticized flaws that seemed to have been carried over from the original poorly designed enemy AI and some design choices which marred the experience. These are all quotes out of the wiki article, by the way. IGN Steve Butts, Butts, was impressed by the improved lighting, the nostalgic aesthetics of the game world, and the impact of player choices in terms of story and gameplay style on the world. Feeling the latter was an absorbing factor in Invisible War's design upon finding himself surprised by the way one of his choices had unexpected repercussions later in the game. Okay, so they filled out a variable, and they referenced that variable later to choose this particular story path. Mind-blowing.
What, you don't want to choose between an asshole and a turd sandwich?
No, I don't. We'll get into that. Aspects he found unappealing this is Steve Butts. Still. He found unappealing included the biomod system, which is fucking shit, the unrealistic NPC behavior, and the rather distracting heads-up display. Eurogamer's Rob Fahey shared many likes and issues with the IGN reviewer, although in his case, the freedom of choice proved to be more confusing than entertaining. He finished fundamentally, Invisible War has chosen certain aspects of Deus Ex experience to focus on to the exclusion of others. And I will say to the exclusion of the others that are good.
Yeah, it got rid of a lot of the fun. Like, this fun is in the way.
Do you want to talk about how shitty this story is?
Alright, so the story is largely on par with the first one. I mean, the first one's story didn't make a ton of sense either. Basically, the first one took place in something like 2052. This one takes place 20 years later, I believe. It's 2072. You play a new character, and the original character, J.C. Denton, is doing shit in the world. Like, you run into him and things he's done various times. The story from this game weirdly, there were 3 main endings to the original Deus Ex. And they kind of took elements of each of them to blend this game world, which is weird because that means none of the endings, which were kind of different, were canon, really, anymore.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like, part of each ending was canon, and it didn't really make sense. But, so, in this world, every conspiracy theory is true. Black helicopters, crop circles, aliens, anal probes by weird government agencies and aliens. There's a ton of, like, the Illuminati, the Majestic 12, the WTO, World Trade Organization, FEMA are bad guys. The Omar.
FEMA are bad guys.
Yeah, right? The Apostle Corp, Knights Templar, and the Order are all different branches of the same Illuminati thing, which is a different branch. So a lot of these people fighting each other were actually interconnected, like the left hand was slapping the right hand. And it didn't make a ton of sense. And so you fight all of this by augmenting your body with some sweet-ass upgrades. Arguably sweet-ass upgrades. Like one sweet-ass upgrade and then a flashlight taped to your forehead.
That's what you get.
Yeah, the first upgrade in this game, which you can't not get, you can't miss it, you can't skip it, and you can never upgrade it, it's a flashlight. I assume it's just duct taped to the top of your head. I'm bionic!
Did you use it at all?
No. God, no.
Neither did I. Do you know why I didn't use it?
No, why?
Because every fucking pistol in the game has a flashlight that doesn't run on your fucking biomod
That's
juice.
So true. I didn't use it because it was stupid. On principle.
I used it all the time in the first game because there were no other lights you could use.
Yeah.
But they gave me a fucking flashlight on a fucking pistol. What are you gonna do?
God, this game was not good, guys.
What was your first main biomod?
What was my first one? I want to say it was Regen. Is that right?
Yeah, that's one I took.
Yeah.
Every other one seemed like a shitty choice. I hate fucking sneaking around, so I'm not choosing anyone that helps me with that.
See, I like sneaking around, but I felt like the Regen was more useful than the stealth. I did eventually take the stealth one.
Oh, it was terrible. Anyway. So, do you want to get into the first major choice you have? Because that's the main part of the storyline.
I like the way you do it. You were beautiful. Go on, you bastard.
Okay, so the first thing that happens while you're in the game is there's a terrorist attack in Chicago. And you're evacuated to Seattle because they're attacking your building, among other things. So you get to Seattle, and then what is she? Your fellow comrade, I guess you could say? You're both in the same program where you find out you're being tested on by the WTO. You're a guinea pig for their bullshit propaganda spying crap. You don't know this ahead of time. You had no clue people were looking in on you at all aspects, but they actually show you that, like in Bioshock, you go up above and can see down into everyone's personal space. It's fucking terrible. So your choice is to go work for them, these assholes who've been fucking with you your whole life. Or you get contacted by the fucking assholes who tried to kill you with their terrorist bullshit. So your choice is the shit sandwich of the World Trade Organization who's been spying on you. Or you can be a terrorist.
Look, man, the WTO it's for your own good. They were spying on you to, like, make you better and make sure you were following the rules. Like, you know, like you do. Like wiretaps. We just want to make sure you're probably legitimate. Maybe we'll catch someone else.
Maybe. More than likely, it's all bullshit.
So at that point, when I was given the option of being a freedom fighter guerrilla guy or evil corporate stooge, I went hardcore evil corporate stooge. When they were like, hey, can you kill this dude? I'm like, yeah, I'll fucking murder the shit out of him. I will murder everyone for everything. Guns in the air. Pew, pew, pew. Yosemite Sam on a vengeance mission. I was like, whatever. I got no scruples. You want me to assassinate, like, the leader of Cuba? Alright, whatever. I'll Bay of Pigs that bitch.
You want me to take out the coffee guy down the street? Sure,
Right?
I'll go fuck him up.
They're like, ah, man, this dude invented a sweet gun. We want that gun, and we want no one else to have it. So take it and, like, kill him. And I was like, alright, I put a bullet in that dude's dome.
See, I played the exact same. I was like, I'm not going to be anybody's fucking stooge if I can avoid it. So I didn't hurt the coffee guy. I didn't take any of the coffee. You know, I talked to both of them. I broke into the one guy's place. I didn't take anything. I broke in there, though. The asshole you're talking about with the gun? Hi, how you doing? Nice gun. Yeah, I'll see you. Bye. Thanks for a copy of it.
I hardcore stooged. I was Dick Cheney to, like, the WTO's George Bush. Like, when he was like, do it. And I'm like, yes, sir!
I couldn't get past the fact that they wanted to either work for the organization that's been treating you like shit your whole life because they don't trust you, or work as a terrorist. I couldn't make that choice inside me, and there was no option to just freelance. So I did freelance as best as I could, which kind of sucked. And if your first choice in the game is to choose between evil or evil, I'm basically not going to choose. I'm going to tell you, go fuck yourself, and that's how I felt about the entire game. I think I'm good with the story. Are you?
Yeah, I think we covered it.
It's fucking terrible. Anyway, gameplay. Standard FPS affair. There's grenades. There's guns. You shoot things. Oh, there are pretty cool, some pretty cool AI robots that run around. There's this dog hunter one that kills you a lot.
Yeah, you better hope you got EMP grenades, yo.
Yeah, if you don't have an EMP grenade, the other option is to have a sniper rifle and hide behind, a door and sneak out to the side for quick shots. It's the only way you're taking this thing down. And they put them real early in the game where you have no fucking power at all. Biomods, like we mentioned, largely forgettable. Get the healing one to start out with.
So there were two biomod types. There were the black market and then the just like regular biomods. And you got canisters. Some were black market and some are not. And you can only... They don't intermingle, so if you get a regular canister, you can't buy a black market upgrade. You have to use your regular canisters on regular upgrades, and your black market on black market. Which was a weird distinction, I guess. Like...
Yeah, that is pretty weird. Why wouldn't you be able to use a black market on a standard?
It just...
The black market would make that...
It just didn't make a ton of sense. Also, they were pretty pigeonholed. There were a couple you had to take, like health regen. And then if you wanted to play stealthy, the only option was to upgrade the stealth one. Like, sneaking around was impossible without using the, stealth cloak. Like, it was literally impossible. But then the rest of the, stealth ones weren't great, like the vision enhancement one. Like, you could see night vision and stuff. I mean, it's like, I guess. Eventually you could see through walls, and that's cool, but you have to invest, like, 3 upgrades in it, and I didn't feel like that was that useful. For 3 upgrades?
That's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like the choices in biomods weren't really choices. It was like, take regeneration, don't take anything else.
Yeah, it's really how it feels, right? Especially right in the beginning. This might be useful later, will be useful the whole game. Take that one. Yeah. Some stuff I didn't write, but I wanted to mention. You can complete missions multiple ways. Like, there's this one part you gotta steal something from a guy's apartment. You can either talk to the janitor and pay him off, and he'll give you the code to the apartment, or you can sneak through the air vents if you find the path and get in that way. There's also the option of trying to hack it open, but if you do that, the guards come. You gotta kill the guards. So there's 3 ways into the same room right there. And
yeah, I mean, there is a lot of choice in the game. You can choose, every mission almost has multiple endings, multiple ways to complete it. There's several different decision points where you can choose between X and Y, and it really changes the rest of the game. Like at the beginning where you choose between the terrorists and the WTO. Eventually there's another choice like that, and then another. But I didn't feel like, a lot of the choices, you didn't really know what you were getting. Like, they didn't do a good job of, like, oh, if you go with the terrorists, you're the good guy. And I get that you want a more gray experience. They were trying to do what BioWare does so well these days. It just wasn't as good a job at it. It was just real murky, kind of what everyone's motivations were a lot of the time. And maybe that shit was in there and I just skipped over it. Like, I didn't read enough of the fucking documents laying around and shit. But I didn't want to.
I tried to read shit and it still felt convoluted and hard to understand.
It really, it felt, and this may be wrong, but it felt like they made a lot of the game feel choice driven by making you not understand what was going on. So it felt like you were, making more decisions than you were. You just didn't understand them.
There's certain places where it's just ridiculous. Like, why do I give a shit what the coffee guy's problems are? Why? Yes, I can talk to him. Great. The world feels more complete. But the coffee guy is not going to hire me to go destroy the other guy's stuff. And when I get there, that guy's not going to hire me to go fuck with the other guy. Those are things that are not going to happen.
Especially in a game that's supposed to be about secret organizations controlling the fate of humanity. And, like the overarching theme of Deus Ex is all these organizations, WTO, FEMA, Knights Templar, Illuminati, are all trying to vie for control of humanity. And, like, when that's your scope, don't have me stop and, like, help a dude find his fucking dog. Like, or, like, poison X dude in 3 streets over. Like, adding side missions for the sake of side missions, like, is just filling out, like, oh, this game needs to be 12 hours long. Add, like, 30 random side missions. Like, most of the side missions of this game felt like they could have been randomly generated in, like, a program somebody wrote. And you never know. Like, it generated 15 coffee dudes that you can talk to, and it just, adding that shit, but I want stuff that fills out the world, like, which I think the original Deus Ex and Human Revolution, the newest one, do really well. When I do a side mission, it's like, oh, go sneak into this dude's house to get this document that exposes this leader of this cell of the Illuminati, and that weakens their power base. You know what I mean? Like, tie me into the world. I don't want to do random fucking shit. This is not, Final Fantasy. I am not picking up 12 mushrooms to bring back to you for a goddamn cloak. Like, that's not how we're doing this. Like, don't build me this awesome world and then have me dick off in it.
I will say there's one thing that's pretty cool is you can complete objectives without knowing they were objectives, and then come across the guy and be like, oh yeah, I already killed that guy. That's already taken care of. Oh, well then, here's your money.
Yeah,
which is nice.
That is super nice.
A lot of games, especially around this time, if you had done something ahead of time, it would reset and make you go do it again. Even World of Warcraft still makes you do that.
Yeah. They've gotten a little better in the newest expansion, but I also quit playing that, so...
Oh, did you? Well, that's good to know now that I have money to be able to play it. I was thinking about getting back into it in a couple months.
It's still fun. Like, if you're on board, get in there, but I don't think it's the game, because I think they did a pretty good job with this expansion. I'm just bored of MMOs, maybe?
I've tried a couple, and I just can't seem to pick them up.
Yeah.
But if you are interested in playing, here's another chance for me to plug OP Noobs. They have a guild, and they're trying to get raiders together. So if you want to play, there's another experience. Yay.
Woohoo!
Music and sound effects, buddy. What do you think?
I put down one word, forgettable. I don't remember them at all. Like, I played this game yesterday, and I couldn't hum for you 2 bars. So it wasn't bad. I would have commented. I would have known. Like, I would have made notes. But I just don't remember them.
This is a game that would have been better if you would have stolen the Shadowgate soundtrack and put it into this game. Would have been so much better. The classic 8-bit Nintendo soundtrack, put it into this game, would have improved it ninefold.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So this game, I played it on Xbox. I have the PC copy that I think I played until that first choice and was like, well, this is a shit sandwich. I'm done with you. And I got it for free with my Xbox, so I played it with that. And it's not even close to comparing to other shooters of the era. by the time this came out, what was it? 2002 was it?
Yeah, I think that's what you said.
Oh no, it's almost 2004. December 2000.
So even later, ew, gross.
Yeah, December of 2003. At this point, the Wii is just around the corner. We're playing Halo 2 on the Xbox. You know, shooters have become the mainstay of gaming, and they're tremendous. And you come out with this terrible piece of shit and expect it to do well. And I don't understand how it's sold over 1 million copies. I really don't.
Yeah, no, you blew my mind. That game is not good.
So yeah, you're. I like what you wrote here. How does the game hold up? And you wrote one word.
Terrible.
Again.
It's terrible. I've recently played the original Deus Ex, and they look the same to me for games that came out like 4 years apart, which is a long fucking time. I did not love this game. I did not love the way this game looked. I did not love the way this game handled. Like, you know, when I go back and play games, like when I go play like Mega Man, I'm like, man, these controls are fucking tight. Like, you know, this shit's dated. Like, some of this shit's obnoxiously hard and it's kind of buggy. But man, when I jump, I fucking feel it. Like, I can still to this day, like, that game's fucking 30 years old. As old as I am. And the controls are still so good, you can be like, this is an example of how to do it. Nothing in this game does that. Like, the game still looks kind of muddy and just boring. Like, even if the graphics were better, like, nothing looked super neat. Like, for some reason, it felt like it lacked the visual aesthetic of the first game. Like, nothing...
Yeah, it absolutely did.
Nothing just felt right. Like, nothing felt right about this game to me. Everything felt antiquated, dated, and it shouldn't be the way it feels when you play a game. Even old games, like, for me, if they do a good job, you know, aside from, like, the PlayStation 1 era, don't play those games. They did not hold up. Everything else, you can still make a good game, good-looking game that, you know, you can just tell is dated. This one just felt like, even if it was new, would not have been that pretty or that good.
To compare it to our last show we did, was Metroid Prime, which came out a full year ahead of this one. And Metroid Prime's graphics and, you know, gameplay are a ton better. It's like incredibly better.
Yeah, no, that
that
game is still playable and looks good. This game is neither.
All right, so your overall playing experience?
This game sucks. A fat dick is what I wrote in my notes. I think that's a little harsh.
It is a little harsh. There are some redeeming aspects.
There are. I actually really like... You know, it was trying well ahead of the curve to do the choice thing, and we're giving it a little more... guff than it deserves. You know, we hadn't really figured out that whole choice in games thing and what was too much and what was enough. So, in retrospect, I think that this game tried a lot. I don't think it succeeded at any of it, but we should give it credit for trying, I think.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. Basically, everything you said there's true. It sucks, but it's not really its fault that it sucks. It is and it's not. I mean, there's still a lot of learning going on as far as combining RPG elements with... Well, not really RPG... Yeah, I guess you could call them RPG elements.
Yeah, you're upgrading. It's RPG, I think.
With first-person shooter, that really hadn't been done a whole lot other than, you know, Metroidvania.
It felt like, and it's unfortunate, but Deus Ex did so well and was so kind of out of the blue that I don't think they had plans for a sequel right away. And when it did so well, they were like, well, shit, we have to make a sequel. And they didn't really understand what made Deus Ex so good. So they took all the parts and they were like, well, we like these three things. Let's use these and let's kind of make everything else in the background. And I think they chose the wrong things to focus on. I think the upgrades should have been a lot more distinct, a lot more useful in the whole.
Useful is the key there.
There were like three different things you had to take if you wanted to be stealthy. There was like one that made your movement silent. There was one that made you invisible to humans, and one that made you invisible to robots. So you had to, if you want to be stealthy, you had to really commit all of your points to stealth. Which is fine, but if you put like 1 point out of order, it kind of really fucked you for stealth for a long time. And
So multi-classing is not the way to go.
no, God, no. And playing stealth was a viable option, but it felt much harder than it needed to be. Like, instead of being an alternate path, it almost felt like, at least by the end of the game, I think it was actually easier. At the beginning of the game, it felt like choosing hard mode. Like, you were legitimately trying to make the game harder for yourself. But by the end of the game, it was way, way easier, because you could skip, like, half the shit in a level, I say, area. Whereas, when you were just straight combat, you were gonna fight all that crap. And some of that is, because the AI in this game was terrible. But that being said, the AI in Deus Ex 1 was terrible. I mean, that wasn't what made the game great. So I feel like the AI is something they should have improved upon, and they didn't. It's one of those things that they let fall by the wayside. Like, it was so bad in the first one, we forgave it because the game was new and shiny and did something very, very different. Whereas this game, we just seen this a few years before, so don't hand me the same game with a new, marginally better graphics and storyline. Like, the shit they needed to improve, they didn't, and that, I think, was its biggest flaw.
I think I would have felt better if they would have kept us playing J.C. Denton. They could have kept the same storyline and everything, but have us be J.C. Denton, and have this other stuff that happens in this game go on. But put me in the role of the cool, tough, awesome guy versus this piece of crap dude who's getting spied upon and has to choose between working for the people spying on him or being a terrorist.
Notable, you could be a lady, and your name didn't change. You were Alex D. either way. It's I guess could be, I don't know what they call a name.
Androgynous.
Yes, androgynous. Androgynous, there's an N.
Yeah.
Which was kind of neat, That being said, it didn't really affect the game. There were a few places, very minor choices and stuff that would come up if you were a lady versus being a dude, but I didn't feel like that choice rewarded you enough. Like, but that being said, if you're a femshep in Mass Effect, the game doesn't change dramatically. Just you can fuck different people. So, I wish they had expounded upon that a little more, given you more options if you were a lady, but, maybe they did towards the end. I only played it for like an hour as a lady just to get a comparison, basically, and nothing really felt different.
So I give this game a 4. Everything I loved about the original game seems to be missing, which I can't even quantify what they are because it's been so long since I played it. But I remember feeling awesome about that game and how I felt about this one at the time when I bought it originally and playing it through now. It's shit. And there's no reason I should ever have to choose between a government agency that is running tests on me and a terrorist organization. Ever. It's a terrible choice, and if you're going to make that the first choice in your game, you're going to piss off everybody. Shitty. Terrible. What did you give it?
I was thinking, I wrote down 2, because when I filled these notes out, I was a little grumpy. I think, I think 5. I've decided to give it some slack here. I'm gonna even type it in here. 5. This game is less sucky than I thought. I'm gonna give it a 5. It did try and push the genre forward a little bit. It's a little unfortunate they chose the wrong things to emphasize on. But overall, I like that they tried to give us choice. Ultimately, I felt like a lot of those choices didn't matter. But we did have options in how to complete missions. And they did make, even though it was harder, stealth viable. So, I think all those things make the game a 5. That being said, I think if you want to go back and play Deus Ex games, play 1 and 3. Skip this shitstorm altogether. But at the time it was valid, it doesn't hold up, I think is the right answer here. It's not a game that, on reflection, is still really good, really solid example of what it does. This is an intermediary game that was trying to go from something new and different and really establish that as its own kind of genre, and I think it fell short. But it tried, and I want to give it a C for effort.
So we're going to add a new section here that we're going to talk about every week. I just sprung this on you by putting it in the doc. But, so to be part of OP Noobs, we want to, talk about how you can play these older games on PC. In this particular case, this game is available on Steam, so we're not going to tell you how to emulate it or anything, because you can still go out, give the developers money for it.
And you can get this game. I bought it for $1.80. I think it's like $4.99 normally. The effort it would take you to emulate this, or steal, is less than the $5 you could give the actual developers of this
game. And $5 is what you'll pay for it in a used store for the Xbox as well. I mean, it's not like they're trying to rip you off for a legitimate copy. So if you're interested at all, go out and buy. Oh, it's $7 on the store. Big deal. If you can't afford $7, you shouldn't be playing PC games. That's what it comes down to.
But that being said, don't waste your money.
Yeah,
buy a different $7. Take that $7 and either put it into your rainy day fund to buy a sweet ass game, or go buy any other game.
Buy Prison Architect when it's 75% off.
There you go. Or, Knights of the Old Republic. Or Knights of the Old Republic 2. You can get both of them shits for under $10.
You'll get a longer playing experience that you'll enjoy.
Man. You will enjoy KOTOR. Like, you will love the shit out of that game. And you'll understand, when you play the MMO, if you ever do, what the shit's going on.
So normally we put listener shit in here. There hasn't been a whole lot of interaction lately, basically because we both fell off the planet for the holidays. And we were going to have a guest, but Fred decided from OP Noobs decided it'd be better if we just did our show and talk about OP Noobs ourselves. So that's fine. But do you want to talk about what we're going to talk about next show? Yeah, that came out right?
Yeah, it's going to be Sonic and Knuckles. Dun-dun-dun. Knuckles isn't a Echidna. I don't know if you knew that.
Yes, he's an Echidna, though he looks like a red hedgehog.
Yeah, apparently they did not know the difference.
I really don't know the difference. But
it was cool that you could plug other cartridges into it to play Knuckles in older games. That was super neat.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That is the best feature of this particular cart. And we promised next episode to tell you how you can emulate this. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to include how to do that particular feature.
I don't know if you. Yeah, I don't know if you can.
But there may be ROMs out there that have, the edit. Basically, it uses the Sonic and Knuckles cart as a hex editor for the other carts to just sub in the image. You're playing as Sonic, but he's red, basically.
Yeah.
Is the difference in the other games? But they just use what was that? The Game Genie. That's what I was looking for. Like the Game Genie, it just goes in, does a hex edit of the original code on the fly as it passes through, and that's why you end up with a red Sonic. Essentially. So there's got to be modified ROMs out there that you could do that with. But yeah, we'll talk about that whenever we have that show. Which,
hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. We tend to try to have a schedule and then always fail to meet it, so I'm not even going to try to describe one. Anyways, you can find us on opnoobs.com, our new affiliate. They are a great bunch of guys. If you're looking for a bunch of guys to play PC games with, that's who you need to go talk to. They're picking up new members every day. There's a lot of fun stuff going on. Just go to their site, look for the link to fill out an application to join the crew, and they'll send you an invite and possibly a Skype call, and then you'll be in. It's really not too difficult, and they're a great bunch of people to talk to. You can also still find us on returntotheretro.com, where you normally find us and all our episodes and show notes and video links. And if you go to randark.returntotheretro.com, that you still haven't been to, have you?
If I say yes, will you not probe?
I won't probe anyway.
Yes.
You can see where I post on my blog. I talk about my life in general surrounding games. My latest post is about how I'm going to manage my time and why my life kind of sucks right now. You can also check us out on Twitter at Return Retro and on a Nook, which is a blogging community and just a great site in general for finding out information about games and meeting other people who play. Just search the Nooks for Return of the Retro. I think that's going to about do it, unless you got something you want to add.
No, you got it.
All right. Once again, thanks to Timber from freesound.org for our theme song.